A helicopter crash on the outskirts of Kyiv has killed the top leadership of Ukraine's Interior Ministry. The Minister of Internal Affairs, the first Deputy Interior Minister and State Secretary are among the dead. 18 people died in all, including 3 children. Nine people were aboard the Super Puma helicopter when it went down in Brovary, a town east of Kyiv. A fire broke out at the crash site near a kindergarten. The children and staff were in the nursery when the accident happened. Ukraine's presidential office says the flight carrying the interior minister was heading towards the front lines. The prime minister has ordered an immediate investigation. Police say it is too early to discuss any preliminary causes. Kyiv's police chief is urging witnesses to contact law enforcement and provide evidence. He says the helicopter was flying at a low altitude for a long period of time. Ukraine's Interior Minister Denis Monastyrsky was responsible for the police and security inside the country. He is the most senior Ukrainian official to die since the war began in February last year. Military aid for Ukraine is in the spotlight as NATO's military chiefs meet in Brussels to discuss the alliance's defense strategy. Much attention will be on Germany during the 2 days of discussions. Berlin is under pressure to provide Kyiv with Leopard tanks, which could help Ukrainian troops push back Russian forces. Let's get more now. Rosie Burchard joins us live from Brussels. Rosie, can we expect Germany to finally agree to send those Leopard tanks to Ukraine?
Well, this meeting here in Brussels is ostensibly a bit more kind of military technical talks about ramping up defences and deterrence. But of course, there is very much an elephant in the room, or perhaps a leopard in the room, because many countries, and of course not least Ukraine, are really waiting with bated breath to see if Germany is going to give the green light on the export of these Leopard main battle tanks. Now, the United Kingdom has already broken what was seen as a bit of a Western taboo on sending main battle tanks to Ukraine by announcing it will send Challengers. And that is seen really as putting more pressure on Berlin to move on this. Germany has always said it doesn't want to go it alone. And we know that German Chancellor Olaf Scholz has been in talks with his American counterpart, and that US Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin is expected in Berlin later this week. There will also be a big meeting of defense ministers from NATO and from other countries that are supporting Ukraine in the US airbase in Ramstein, Germany on Friday this week. That might be the moment that we finally get this news from Germany. There certainly is pressure on Germany to move on this, and certainly Lithuania, Poland, countries which are seen as Ukraine's really biggest political backers, they are saying outright that they are convinced and expecting this to happen, something that will add more pressure on Berlin. So likely we'll see some movement on this before the end of the week. If it is a yes out of Germany, well, that will be music to the ears of officials in Kyiv.
Now, NATO's own defence is also being discussed at the meeting. How will the alliance adjust and deploy its forces as the threat of Russia continues?
Well, the last time this type of meeting took place of NATO military chiefs, defence chiefs, it was just on the same day, as if you can imagine or recall, that a NATO-Russia Council took place. So in January 2022, there was, here in Brussels, officials from NATO and Russia sitting around a table, face-to-face, having diplomatic talks. Well, it's hard to overstate just how much things have changed since then. And one of those changes we are seeing is that NATO is totally rethinking its own defences in light of what they see as an additional security threat for Russia, not least for countries in NATO that are geographically close to Ukraine, to Belarus, or to Russia, countries like Poland, like Lithuania. So what NATO is now thinking about is radically ramping up its rapid reaction forces, so up to around 300,000 of them to be deployed or at least assigned to different countries across the eastern flank of NATO. They'll also be looking at not only their land defences, but also air defences, also sea defences. And beyond that, they're really trying to look forward, anticipate, for example, when it comes to digital and cyber. Now, this is the kind of technical discussions that the defence chiefs are having in Brussels today, but it's certainly part of a long process, and we'll hear much more from it when NATO leaders gather in Vilnius later this year.
Thank you, Rosie Burchard, reporting on NATO's military chiefs meeting there in Brussels.